Hello and welcome back to FVC Season 6, Round 17 at the Yas Marina circuit for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The second to last round of the season with 15 drivers and potentially a couple more joining later in qualifying. Potential championship night tonight for Houseman 212E, only needing to finish 5th or above in the race, regardless of where anyone else finishes, to secure his second Drivers' Championship. Joining me tonight in the commentary booth will be Senna once again. Welcome on in.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Well, hopefully we'll have an interesting race on our hands and maybe an interesting qualifying session right now as some of the drivers have started to go in out of their pit boxes and then onto the track for their warm-up lap.
They are both the Mercedes, an Alfa Romeo, what looks to be a Williams, and an Alfa Tauri currently heading out on track. Leading the way of all of them will be Curly 7. While we wait underway, I need to attend to a slight issue in the Twitch chat. We have a bot, of all things, trying to get in. Has been fixed now. Second time only for the Abu Dhabi circuit to be used in the FVC. First time back in Season 5 where we've seen a racer. I can't recall much that happened there apart from one current Mercedes driver making advantage of the track limits at turn 1. That did introduce a new rule for that race onwards, and we'll be keeping watch, see if any driver decides to try and the same thing this time around. Heading around the final few corners of the track, let's jump on board with the Alfa Tauri of Curly as he heads round the 16 turns of the Yas Marina circuit. Good launch out of the final corner. Long run, but no DRS zone up to the first corner. It's a 90-degree left-hander getting to the inside nicely. Not too far though, otherwise you risk hitting that curb. And then flat out for the entirety of the track up until turn 5, the hairpin, what was a chicane not that long ago, changed into a much nicer flowing hairpin. McLaren just up ahead, pulling off of the racing line from the AlphaTauri. Good exit out of the hairpin through the first DRS zone, and even longer straight. Will have the cars ahead and trying to grab the slipstream anywhere he can to improve his lap time. Not going to get much of it off the Red Bull, pulling off the line, braking hard, 100-meter board into the chicane just at the start. We're in the middle, actually, of Sector 2. Don't want to kick your tires too much out of the exit, otherwise you will be losing a bunch of time. Second DRS zone heading up to turn 9. What can be a very deceptive corner, taking a lot quicker than one may think due to its on-camber nature. Aston Martin up ahead of the AlphaTauri driver, heading underneath the hotel. Invalidates his lap though, heading through turn 12. Will mean he has to abort and go for another one. The Mercedes behind of what I presume is D765 will be the next car. Not sure how he got on, but he will be the first one to set a flying lap coming through turn 15-16. Pit entry here as well could catch drivers off guard. Anyone at racing speeds will have to go random. 123.013 to set the pace from the Mercedes driver. Red Bull of Apex next up to start a lap, finishing just behind Rain with a 122.8. Will take provisional pole position for the time being. Dorado heading third place, 124.3, and I'm not quite sure how to say that, but I presume it's Ganifi, 125.451. Joseph only a 127, sending him in 5th place, but intermediate tyres on that Mercedes means no surprise that there is less time found. Also on the intermediate tyres will be the Haas of Mulder, going for a qualifying run. Houseman on the mediums coming around the final corner, setting a 122.5 as his first flying lap. A very quick, especially considering everybody else so far has been on the soft compound of tyres.
It's not, and there's obviously, as of the new rule change, there is no, you don't even have to use the tire that you set your fastest lap on now, as it's free will of tire choice. So obviously, probably just doing that just to maybe just make a statement there, just show what he is capable of and what he can even do with arguably the worst tire out of the two usable ones right now. because no one's going to be using a hard.
Nobody will be using hards for qualifying, but that is definitely just a show of pace up there from Houseman. Going for a second championship tonight, as was stated earlier. Just over half of the grid so far have set their flying laps within the first, well, I believe, 6 minutes. Also making a debut in the FVC is going to be Monkey Moo for Ferrari. 137.892 for her, though, isn't the greatest of first flying laps. However, could very well be going for another later on in the session. Mulder only 127.312, but again on the intermediate tyres. No surprise there that he's down at the bottom of the grid. Broughton also on the intermediates is a bold choice. A lot of drivers going for a very interesting strategy, including Scarlett on the hards.
Interesting. I think I might have to take back my comment on Houseman on the being on the mediums now, considering we have 3 intermediate runners and a hard.
So far, the only tyre we haven't seen make an appearance in this session is the full wet compound. Joseph for Mercedes heading on to the soft compounds in the garage right now. Mulder still making his way around, as is Broughton. I doubt we'll see the wets through this session. There is no need to use them. I doubt we'll see any rain at all, considering the location of this circuit. But, well,
Bahrain was pissed. Bahrain was
could.
pissing it down this week.
That's true. Anything could very well happen. I haven't seen any reports of incoming rain, so I doubt there will be any, as we usually would have gotten it by now, but be very interested to see if anyone dares to take them out for a chance.
Most of them is going out at the big... Ooh, what's happened?
Yellow flags for a slow-moving, I think, Mercedes.
Yeah.
That will be the car of Joseph. Indeed it will be.
Well, I think it's just a glitch, because on my screen, Joseph has got soft compound tyres on.
He was on the intermediates earlier, but he did go into the pit. He has just come out again and is now on the softs. But there is stream evidence that he was on the intermediates earlier on. Early 42 on the hard, heading into 70 to 125. Hurley going near the top of the 122.9 this time, not invalidating a flying lap. Broughton a 138.12 on the inters. Two drivers remaining to set a flying lap. We'll jump on board with Sass, make that one driver. She is the only one remaining to set the flying lap now in this session, with just about half time remaining.
I love how there's this little bit of white on the same bit of the turn that Latifi crashed at the exact point.
1:28.264 will be the lap time that Sass sets. All 16 drivers pretty early on, a rarity for this season, have set a flying lap. Up at the top, Houseman coming back out onto track on the softs this time around, getting ready to run a full course flying lap. I'd be very surprised if we don't see another couple of drivers go for the same. D765, sorry. Purple middle sector for the Mercedes driver. Looking forward with him for the rest of this lap, heading underneath the hotel. Very technical section of the circuit. Very different from the rest of it, Sector 3. A lot more corners than anywhere else on the track, and a lot of them very sharp corners at that. Up to the line, will go second, but not by much. A 122.597 after a purple final sector as well from the Mercedes driver. Apparently as well, the lap from Curly was impeded by Broughton, so we could see a bit of works coming from that, as well as another run from the AlphaTauri driver. Yellow flags at the final corner for the Alfa Romeo of Niffy. Hitting the pit lane wall is a unfortunate accident there. Front left corner broken off, trying to get into pit lane. Just overshooting the braking zone likely. 11th place at best for them. A 125.451. We could see times tumbling down from that very quickly as Houseman will be starting his soft compound flying lap. We also see the other Red Bull going slowly at the exit of the hairpin, likely to give a tow as the Alfa Romeo driver has left the session. Purple first sector for Houseman. Not surprised they're very aggressive on the throttle coming out of turn 5. DRS will be open, and that other Red Bull of Apex is sitting right in front of it, giving the slipstream all the way down the straight. This will be a very quick lap if he can get the rest of it right. But Apex needs to get out of the way, and that he does before the chicane. Hopefully hasn't impeded Ben too much. A little bit of a miss on the first Apex, staying off the second one as the other Red Bull has cut the chicane to give a second dose of slipstream, this time by pulling off into the other layouts pit exit, able to get nicely round turn 9.
Some interesting tactics going on there from the Red Bulls.
Definitely is some interesting, potentially questionable tactics, but all of it trying to get Ben as high up the grid as they can. He's gotten nicely through, halfway through sector 3. Only one corner stands between him and the new fastest lap of the session, more than likely. A little bit off the apex through the final corner. Very aggressive, but go off the throttle. 121.9 from Houseman.
I don't think anyone's going to most likely beat that, except maybe Track Evolution might make it a bit faster, but with that amount of slipstream that Ben got down the straights, I doubt that anybody will be able to beat it or even get as close to it.
Well, it is dependent. There is another just under 6 minutes remaining in the session. Depending on how close someone can get to the end of the session, as well as if anyone works with enough teammate there, as we see the roles getting reversed this time. Ben giving the slipstream to Apex, going down the straight. Wonder if we'll see the same thing going on at the chicane here between the two Red Bulls. Ben pulling off harshly, getting out of the way, and then cutting it over it. Indeed, roles reversed this time round. But I don't think they've done it particularly well. Ben there hasn't got the greatest of exits off of the corner and pulls off to let Apex go by. Not going to be as much of a slipstream there, but a look into how it was done for those two.
We'll see where that lap, when that massive toe down the I think that straight's like 2 kilometers long.
All things combined, very possibly it is. Rounding the final corners now for Apex, up through his second place, a 122.527. That time does seem a little more attainable. Definitely could be a little faster, especially considering there wasn't a perfect slipstream down the second section of the straight between turn 7 and 9.
And I think there was a little bit of a dodge as well there, just to make sure that none of them got collected.
Very much potentially so. Blah moving up to 5th place, 122.839 for the Haas driver. 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Very surprised we don't see a number of cars getting ready to go for their next runs. Broughton still on the intermediate tyres. Interesting to note as well, Joseph, even though he went for a run on the softs, didn't actually complete it. His best time still from that interlap, the 127.106. But we'll see him coming out a little later on. The Alfa Romeo driver getting back in the session. 3 minutes remaining. Will be here for the race. Williams of Rayan heading out of pit lane as well to go for another run. Has been a quick driver, but involved in a couple of controversies over the past couple of races, including a carryover penalty, which dropped him a couple of positions from last week. Yellow flags out at a number of locations, including for D7 and Rayan. Slow-moving cars, no one around them, though, will be getting impeded by that.
Oh, Scarlett's just lost it, going Out of, what turn is it? Just turn it Latifi lost it at.
That would be turn 14. Broken front end plate there for that car. Indeed, coming into pit lane as well. Still on the hard compounds, I'd expect to see her coming back out on the softs, considering how little time is left.
Most likely. I was watching Scarlett and Broughton almost fight going round the track almost. Just, I don't know what they were doing. Like, you're not me. Like, it was like Scarlett was just trying to overtake Broughton, and then afterward, I don't know if Broughton was slow moving or whatnot, but then they just ended up fighting, and it caused Scarlett to lose time. And then just as they were going through turn 14, she just lost the back end and hit the front, just hit the wall. But do you know what? At least it's only an end plate loss, and it isn't how it was with Giraffe. And your session's over.
Indeed it is. From what I can read in the stream chat as well, Broughton saying was a good battle, so very likely that's what it was for the Ferrari driver. Interesting to do it in qualifying, especially when it is 4 positions. I'm also noticing the Red Bulls have come back out on track and are together for one final flying attempt, with Apex being the car in the 2nd position at the time being. They have to be careful though, because the AlphaTauri of Curly isn't actually on a flying lap. But as far as I'm aware, that McLaren of Dorado was when he came up to that group. Could have been potentially a bit of impeding there as D7 moves into 2nd place, 122.499 for Mercedes. Joseph also on track again, minute remaining on an outlap. Soft compound tyres there, softs for Broughton, and I think that is slicks. No, it's not. It is inters again for Mulder. So his final flying attempt will be down at the back. Monkey Moo also coming back out on track on the soft compound, trying to get faster than the 137. A little bit of oversteer there for Houseman coming around the final corner, and the Red Bulls have separated quite a lot from their initial positioning on track. That could cause detrimental effects for Apex, especially considering there's a number of cars that could be getting quite close to them.
It could be, but I think, who is it on? I think it's the AlphaTauri, I'm pretty sure, of Curly that's right in front of Apex. I don't think he's just, Curly's just a little bit far out that it won't probably affect Apex to any degree, but it could possibly give him just a little slight toe. Nah, it's too far.
As Mulder retires from the session coming out of the hairpin, laps are over. It is now down to just who can get the best of their laps. Pixels invalidated, will not be able to set another lap across the line. Next up is going to be the McLaren of Rosenquist aborting into pit lane. 10th at best for them. Next car to cross the line will be the Mercedes of Joseph. 127.106 to beat. Should be very easy considering that was the lap set on the intermediates earlier on. Rounding through the final corner, he's got a Red Bull behind of Houseman. He's hitting the pace, not sure how quick they're going. Up into 5th at best for Joseph Houseman, coming across the line. 121.8 for him will be a new provisional fast lap. 7th at best for Curly as Apex with a broken front end plate heading into pit lane. Ferrari next off what I think is Scarlett. No, not Scarlett, but Scarlett is going quick. The purple middle sector for the Ferrari driver. It was Monkey Moo coming across the line that we see now. Will Pole on board with the Ferrari driver for now. Off the track goes a Williams of Broughton. The Haas going by of presumably Blood retiring from the session. Rounding the final few corners, that Williams could be in the way for the Ferrari. Dirty out through the final corner. Not going to be too terrible. Up to the line. 2nd place to 122.4. Oh, Scarlett.
That was a good lap from the Ferrari driver. Really good lap.
Very good laps near the end of that session. Houseman on his potential championship night takes pole position at 121.807, a flying lap from him. Scarlett takes 2nd place with a 122.4, and D7 is in 3rd. 4th place going to Apex, not the greatest of slipstreams between those two on his flying lap, and Ryan in 5th place. 6th place goes to Joseph, getting blocked in his lap claimed and losing a 2nd. Blah takes 7th place. Curly in the AlphaTauri goes 8th. 9th place for Dorado, and 10th for Pixels. 11th going the way of Rosenquist. 12th for the Alfa Romeo of Kniffy. 13th for Sass. 14th for Broughton. 15th for Mulder. And 16th for Monkey Moo. 2 of those laps set on the intermediate compounds. A very interesting choice for Broughton and Mulder. And I am mistaken, actually, it is a formation lap, I'm pretty sure.
Also, we just went in for that for nothing.
So we did go through that for nothing. Well, I'm not sure, actually. They're going at a pretty fucking high pace, and that's round goes Houseman, but no damage there. Does prove my point that I'm pretty sure it's on a formation lap. Houseman 2-2, as I said, did take pole. We'll run down from roughly where we were on the grid. 10th place was FB Pixels, 11th going the way of VNT Rosenquist, 12th the Alfa Romeo of Kniffy after crashing in qualifying. Overshooting braking zone just a little bit, and the front left tyre on the pit entrance wall. 13th goes the way of Saskia Mall, 14th for Broughton, 15th the way of Mulder, and 16th for Monkey Moo. Possible race strategies were on screen, but of course it is very unlikely we'll see them followed for some drivers. Taking a look at the details, a number of drivers choosing to start on hards and not on the mediums. Not a single set of softs to begin with for this race. Could see a couple of very interesting, as another spin there from Houseman up at the top of the field.
Just bringing out his inner Bottas. That's what he's doing.
Well, hopefully we do see a little bit of a more stable setup for the race. Having a number of spins in the first few laps could be disastrous, especially starting from pole position, going very wide there. Possibly they get any amount of heat into the tires that he can. Has to be careful though, because overheating your tires is just as bad as underheating them. Of course, he is on for his second championship, 5th or better. He's in a good position to make that happen. Means he will win the championship tonight after 29 laps, so anything could happen, especially with 16 drivers, a couple of debuts on the grid, a number of returning faces, and a lot of veterans. 2 cars yet to come around and form up. Pixels just qualified in the session. Better positioning for some. Of course, anything can still happen. All cars have made it back to the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are on. It's
let's go racing, you bunch of hot dogs.
As I get very rudely interrupted there from Senna. Good start, roughly from all the top this time. Apex getting once again a poor start as he did the last time around. Houseman has kept his position, not winning this time. Scarlett second. Apex moving back into 4th place. Here comes Rayan once again on the mediums, getting the better start. Tire-wise, you'll have more grip at this stage in the race. However, the hards will last longer, heading around the hairpin. Long way around there for Apex from the outside of Mercedes, going 3 wide nearly. See them already up through the distance.
Much more cleaner, I will say, than it was the last time. As going in, as I think Scarlett's going to try a dive bomb, but Houseman defends it really well. But it's just going to compromise Scarlett for D7, who's now got the rundown on her onto the second hairpin and the inside line. And I think D7 actually might have the inside line, but as well as he's overtaking Scarlett, but just didn't have enough pace there to overtake Houseman, who's just that slight bit ahead as we enter sector 3.
Mercedes getting up to second place, displacing the Ferrari behind, who now has that Williams of Rain right behind her. Cleaner start this time out from what we've seen before the internet outage. D7 clearly looking for a way up to get into the lead any way he can. Houseman will like to lead as much as he can for this race, but anywhere in the top 5 will land him his championship. That's all he needs to do. He has his eyes set on it. First lap completed. Some gains up through the field, others lost a lot. Apex falling down to 6th place is not where he's going to want to be. The McLaren's having a great time, either down in 12th and 13th.
Is D7 going to try a dive bomb?
Trying to get close and possibly not close enough. Rain moving up to 4th place, Joseph down to 5th. Also to note, Broughton in 10th and Mulder in 8th after a very low down start. Here comes the Mercedes, moved to the inside of the track on the overtake, getting clearly into the lead. Ben's got a lot more battery though, will have the outside line if he can keep it here. and stay there, which he seems to have managed to do. He'll have the inside for the exit of the chicane. Here comes T7 trying to get acceleration on the outside of the track, but the Red Bull's in a better position now, heading towards the hairpin. They're going to be side by side, though. Scarlett's going to be right there on them. Mercedes has kept the lead for now. Here comes Scarlett as well in the Red Bull. They're going to have to both go the long way around of the Red Bull, but both of them will somehow make it work. Here comes Scarlett, getting right there, just pushed off track ever so slightly, having to back out of that. But Houseman holding in second place. D7 is leading for the time being. He's going to be over the line more than likely for this lap. And a spin from the background from the Williams of Rain, dropping it, ghosting, kicking in, and causing no accident to happen there. But that's going to be a big fall down the grid, down to 13th for him. 126.985, the pace set from Curly on the mediums is the fastest lap as it stands, and DRS will be getting enabled on this lap.
I think that's probably it for, I'll be honest with you, I think it is for D7, as D7 only has about 16% of his battery left, whereas Houseman behind has almost a 3/4, much more battery, and obviously that slipstream down the back straight, obviously he's just going to slingshot back to that Mercedes. Maybe
we'll
wait till the end.
Red Bull gaining, but it is going to take a little bit of time. He's gained 0.2 of a second, no, even 0.3 of a second just before the chicane. And of course, there's another helping of DRS and slipstream from this point all the way to turn 9. Very wide there for what looks to be the Mercedes of Hales in the background. Here comes the Red Bull moving to the outside of the track, going to be having the long way around through turn 9. Side by side, isn't going to quite get the move done throughout the corner. On the exit, though, he'll have the better acceleration, getting off the corner. Houseman's back to the lead.
I just want to point this out. Both Mulder and Broughton have made up very good places. Mulder already up in 6th after, let's just say, having a little bit of a fun time on the intermediates in qualifying. Same with Broughton as well, as Curly goes wide. And
Curly. Also a bit of contact between the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes. 126.578 from Mulder on the hardest means he is catching this top group. And if this group stays as close-knit and fighting for this position as they are, all the way down to what I believe is 9th place this battle goes to for the time being, any mistake from any of these drivers could send them tumbling down the field. Scarlett having a look to the inside through turn 5 against the Mercedes. D7 getting the better initial acceleration off the corner, but here comes that acceleration. There's yellow flags out for Sass, spun around at the exit of turn 1. Going to be equal footing for the Ferrari and the Mercedes heading towards. They're going to be even 3 wide.
I think Scarlett's just gotten ahead ever so slightly.
Scarlett getting ahead of the Mercedes. However, both of them are going to be coming back at them again throughout the second section of the straight. There is a lot of cars fighting for this position.
As Mulder's now just past Curly, I think on the outside of the turn 9 hairpin.
Mulder now on the back of the Mercedes. Both the Mercedes are fighting each other quite a lot harder than they possibly should be at this stage of the race. If they want to make up any positions, they could, even if they're unlucky and don't drive very well, take each other out, and that would be detrimental for both of them. Joseph has come up a long way already up to the podium positions at this stage of the race, but you can see the amount of cars both ahead and behind them. None of them are going to be letting up, and that's a lot of pressure. Speaking of one of the cars around, that's a Mercedes, that's Joseph out of the race.
And that's a safety car.
That's going to bring out the first safety car. And just a perfect example of the pressure currently around all these drivers at the start of this race. Already one of them gone.
Really unlucky from Hales' Rosenquist and Sass gets as
penalties for multiple warnings.
Rosenquist's got a penalty just there for just entering the pit lane too quickly.
Speeding under safety car for the Alfa Romeo of Neef will be a drive-through, and another one for speeding under safety car again. That's 2 drive-throughs under one safety car.
That's rough.
That will neutralise things for now in this race. I'd say there'll be one Mercedes is very unhappy at that.
I think we could end up seeing a couple of guys jumping into the pit box. We'll see what ends up happening.
We already
From
have
there.
got the Ferrari of Mu, who's currently running in 16th place, did head into pit lane, currently on their way out. Jump up to the front of the grid, see what goes on from here, because of course the hards will go, and you could extend them out just a little bit, and staying in, actually, going into the pit lane is... Pretty sure cutting over the pit lines as well went D7. The only car out of that top 5 to stay out will be Apex. Broughton following along, as is Blah. The rest of that top group, though, went into the pits. Pixels also coming in, as is Dorado, and 11th place of Nife, who crashes into the back of Dorado, and I think caused that McLaren to get a speeding penalty. Broken front wing there for the Alfa Romeo. That could be cause for concern following the race.
Like
So the top 3 stay out.
Everyone who's just gone in to the pits on medium, so I think they're all hoping they're quick enough, or at least there's not too much tyre degradation that they can go to the end with these mediums.
Ryan and Rosenquist are the other 2 cars to stay out of the pits. So 5 stay out, everyone else heading in. Rosenquist, a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings under the safety car is not what you want to have happen, because that is time that you're going to find very hard to get back. We'll wait for things to get back underway. Taking a look at the previous wins at this circuit, only one race in the past, as has been told in qualifying. D765, the Season 5 champion, won here last time out at Abu Dhabi. Whoever takes it this time will more than likely be a new Grand Prix winner. 5-second penalty for Nife for ignoring yellow flags once again, and a retirement for the Alfa Romeo driver on the back straight. Between turns 7 and 9. Will leave that debut drive as a strong did not finish.
I think they just kind of almost just kind of like realised that all odds were stacked against with how many penalties they were given, and just thought, you know what, I'm just going to finish last anyway home.
Unlikely what happens there. Unfortunate, racing can go against you, but of course a lot of the time you need to make sure your own driving doesn't cause problems for yourself or other people. Of course, we see the 2 drive-thrus and the collision with Dorado heading into pit lane. While we're also under this to go, we'll take a quick peek at the standings for this event as well. First place firmly held by Houseman, 228 points ahead of Broughton's 195. Broughton currently sitting in 2nd place after not pitting under that safety car. Houseman in 4th as it stands. 3rd place is Mulder, only 2 points behind Broughton, on the better tyres, but it's a number of positions down from the Williams driver. 4th place is Apex, who is not in that fight as far as I can tell, for 2nd place in the championship. Shouldn't be much longer under the safety car. 2 cars left to catch up, although I doubt we'll see the Ferrari getting up before this ends. However, I could be proven wrong. There's one graphic I'm looking for as well, but I don't remember if I have the key binding set up for it. It's that one. I don't remember if I set this one up or not. No, I did. Previous champions for the numbered seasons. 5 champions in the past. Only 1 double champion has ever been recorded in FVC history. Tonight could see the crowning, though, of a 2nd, as Houseman looks to take a 2nd championship. It's first coming all the way back in Season 3, the first public season of the FVC. Season 4 was won by Apex, the only double champion so far. Also winning in Season 2, and then the current 6th place runner of D765 winning in Season 5. Season 1 won by Ferrari, the only other champion to win it by over 200 points, all the others being in the 190s. Houseman obviously previously said with 228 as it stands tonight. could be seeing himself possibly even pushing 250 should he be able to get a good result next week out at Qatar.
I think it's just Monkey Moo just kind of holding up this entire safety car period right now. I don't know. They're just taking their time, just patching up to the pack here.
Need one car remaining to catch up. 14th place runner currently off Monkey Moo and Ferrari. First race for her. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to see her catching up. I do think she will be able to get there before the safety car finishes. However, I don't know how long is left of this safety car period. I know there's a maximum amount of laps it can be out as there we go. Safety car is in this lap. It'll be very closely caught if the Ferrari does get up to the back of this pack before it goes green again, but Apex will be the one to control the grid. We've seen how well Apex and Houseman have been working together. I'd say Apex will say when he's about to go as well.
Yeah, I also think as well, he's going to most likely want to make sure that him and Houseman have cleared turn 14. That's almost, in my opinion, that's the chokehold of this sector. If you by the time you've got past that, well, saying that, you have to wait till the safety car's in, and it hasn't gone in yet. So most likely might even be probably halfway down between turn 15 16, that small straight there.
And he's gone at the exit of 15 is the location where he started accelerating. It seems to be a good way to catch out second and third. Houseman has not been the one caught out there. Indeed, very likely those two working together. Houseman already on the back of the Haas, having looked on the inside for Blah, going for it at turn 1. He's made the move so far. He's gone out wheel to wheel there, but wheel bang between the Red Bull and the Haas. Haas was getting caught out by the Ferrari of Scarlett, going a long way round turn 3. Somehow getting the move done. Houseman up into third place. Blah already falling down to 6th even off of the restart. Very much caught out from the start. Mulder, his teammate, already behind him, but not through positions gained. Here comes the Williams of Broughton on the overtake all the way down the straight. He's going to have a look at going into the lead, having to go the outside though before the chicane. He's not going to be close enough to fight it. However, Apex will be forced to go deeper than he will have wanted to, and a bit of contact there as Broughton accelerates into the back of the Red Bull. That'll Houseman get up into second place through an easy overtake. Here comes Scarlett up into third. Broughton getting a very poor run off of the corner. Houseman will be going to the lead. A lot of cars very close together. Contact between the Mercedes and...
There's a Mercedes there. No contact there.
A lot of contact. The safety car getting deployed once again. The other Mercedes and the Haas of Blah caught up in a collision. We'll see the second safety car deployed. Neither car going out, but a lot of damage down lower in the grid. Taking a look at it. Front end plate is gone for the Haas, but it's a complete front wing change will be needed for the Mercedes of D765. What was a good start for the Mercedes team has went nightmarishly bad. One car is out and another car will be going all the way to the back of the grid. More than likely.
I won't lie, that's probably just given all the cars that didn't pit in the first safety car period are just a lifeline there. That's probably because it's happened so early on after the restart, and also because it might just immediately allow some of them to be probably not even that far back from on the pack. They'll obviously start at the very back, but they will have a massive tyre advantage now, as all of them will probably be maybe at least, I want to say, 7 laps old at least by the time we restart. By the looks of things, they're going to be ancient ones at the front.
Although they will be old by amount of laps, they weren't going to be as worn as they would be if they were full-on racing pace. So although they won't have as fresh a tyres as the guys that have just went in, they won't be as worn though as you would expect them to be. However, that has changed things up quite a lot at the front. Houseman Scarlett and Mulder is the new top 3. Pixels in 4th place. The McLaren duo, who weren't having the greatest of races earlier on, now 5th and 6th. And there is still another long way to go. We're only a third of the way through this race as it stands. Two cars remaining to catch up. We're not going to be going green now at the end of this lap, as it is far too close to the end of it. But lap 11 out of 29, the end of lap 11, the start of lap 12, I should say, we'll be going back to green flag racing. Ryan, a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, heading into pit lane. A very late call there, and a very disadvantageous one, heading to the back of the grid for the...
I think they might go in softs, or maybe another set of mediums.
It is a new set of hards and a front wing change for the Williams driver, the number 99, having to pit very late into this safety car. Ryan apparently also caught cutting pit entry there from one of the drivers in the current race. Red Bull want to pull the same strategy as they likely did the last restart. It's going to be a little bit harder this time out due to the differences in positioning between them. Instead of 1st and 4th, it's now 1st and 8th.
I think Apex is probably just going to tell Houseman to hit the hyperdrive and just boot it almost. Just get out there quick fat and get out and go as far as possible.
Safety car coming in this lap, the confirmation coming through from race control. Houseman will lead, where he wants to be ahead of Scarlet 42. And then Mulder in 3rd place. 3 very quick drivers up in the top 3 positions. Pixels taking 4th place, and the McLarens of Dorado and Rosenquist in 5th and 6th. Very close there to the safety car is Houseman. The earliest opportunity he can go only really being now, as the safety car finally pulling into pit lane, meaning he'll be going at the end, out of the corner, and that's a very obvious place to go. Not going to be catching the people behind him as much as that first start was. Back to green flag racing. Top 3 have stayed the same. Already a number of cars moving up positions. Apex up into 7th. D7 getting up to 9th place, but very far off the track collision there. Going off the track is between Blah and Monkey Moo. That Haas having its front wing fully intact, but the front right end plate gone from the Ferrari isn't going to be very suitable. No I cannot speak. No virtual safety car or full for that one. Green flag racing will be continuing. Mulder is having a look against Scarlett, being able to make the move landing inside into the chicane. Three of Scarlett will be trying to fight it back. Not able to get the power down as well as the Haas is, though. That car already trying to catch up to the back of Houseman. Apex moving up to 6th place. A decent restart for him so far, in the middle of the McLarens as it is. But not a very good restart for Sass, falling down to 11th. Apex able to quickly clear the McLarens. Now we'll be moving up to try and get past Pixels. These two have been teammates before, but no longer for this season. Pixels has no obligation to let that Red Bull past, and is currently not going to let it be very easy. Houseman took the fast lap for a second, but it's back to Mulder. 125.873 is the pace so far. Here comes Apex, having looked on the inside into turn 1 against Pixels. The Aston are going a little bit deep into the corner. Here comes a Mercedes as well. A little bit of contact between D7 and Rosenquist heading through the first corner.
Oh, it's very, very close.
D7 having it down the inside into turn 5. Very wide there from Pixels. He'll be losing that position to both of them from the looks of it. Possibly even a couple of extra cars behind. Getting into the slipstream. No DRS for this lap. It'll be getting activated on the start of next lap. The Ferrari will be already back in pit lane to get that front wing placed. Here comes D7 up to 4th place. Getting back past Apex. Top 3 running away from this pack, but the battle for 4th place is still raging on. Pixels has fell down to 7th place, no longer holding that position, but the McLarens still trying to get up there. Another bit of contact between D7 and Apex heading into turn 9. Mercedes getting back ahead, looked very similar to real-life contact back in 2021. With the teams reversed between these two compared to how they were during that race. DRS getting enabled at the start of this lap. Another car's rent round. That's going to be Pixels. Rosenquist a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Not sure what's happened there to Pixels. Falling down outside of the points now. As contact between the two Aston Martins going around the final corner. That's not what you want to see between teammates. Into pit lane as well is Dorado.
Ooh.
4th and 5th getting away from this group as well, just ever so slightly on their way to try and catch up to the top. Speaking of the battle at the top, Mulder's having a look for the lead, making it happen on the left-hand side of the track. Easily able to get past with the DRS assistance. A lot of battery between these two as well. I mean, anything can still happen. However, it will be Houseman who will be getting the DRS helping for this time up to turn 9. The Red Bull could be slower in a straight line than that Haas, as we have seen the differences between the two throughout the season. Caution in Sector 2 as that's a McLaren this time, bringing out the yellow flag of Rosenquist. It's now going from bad to good to bad again, swinging the other way for the McLaren team.
They were just a few laps ago, they were up in like the top. They were like 6th and 7th, and now they're all the way back down at the back of the field now. It's fate's has really changed for the team in Papaya.
Fates have changed indeed for them, but anything can happen in racing. It only takes a lap for it to go from good to nightmarishly bad. 1:25.720 from Mulder is the new fast lap of the race. He continues to keep his lead for the time being. The battle, though, for 4th and 5th is still raging on. Won't be long before night falls here at the Abu Dhabi circuit. Sun already setting beyond the horizon. Scarlet will have to try very hard to keep onto the back of this grid. Did get the DRS assistance, will be moving back within a second. Here comes Houseman doing the same move Mulder did in a straight line just one lap earlier. Roles getting reversed between those two. Mulder will get the second helping of DRS now before turn 9. They do have the backmarker Ferrari, though, of Monkey Boo in 14th place ahead of them, though. And I think if Ben was close enough, he might have got the DRS, but he didn't. Monkey going off the track, not pulling any problems there. Here comes Mulder. He's not going to be close enough to get the move done against the Red Bull, though.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was a really tight battle between D7 and Apex. In fact, I think at the current moment, if how things are going, I think they might actually catch up to the back of Scarlet pretty soon.
It is entirely possible. Scarlet was getting dropped off the back of this fight just a little bit, and also getting a 3-second penalty as well for multiple warnings, just trying to push herself as much as she can to keep on the back of this fight. I think, though, you're right in saying that the gap between D7 and Apex to the back of this top group is definitely getting just ever so slightly smaller. Because
I saw it's already dropped by about 3/10 in this whole sector since the start of the lab, and now it's dropped down into the nearly 2.5 seconds now. So I think how it's going, I think Apex and D7 might be working with each other to try and catch up to this field.
It is entirely possible they are trying to catch up to each other. However, they're just still two teams in rivalry to each other.
We are two teams in rivalry, but yeah. No, they are helping each other, I'm pretty sure. I think, yeah, they are.
Apex falling to 5th place as the DRS going back in the favour of the Mercedes. They are now, though, half second down to the back of that fight as they were a lap ago. Or even
maybe
half
not.
a lap ago, I should be saying. As D725, a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings himself running off the track. Into the pits, though, goes Houseman on lap 16. Mulder will be taking the lead in a big bout of oversteer there through the final corner. Scarlett will be in second place, the one to pressure the Haas driver. Scarlett's battery, a lot worse condition than the one for Mulder. Very interested to see, though, what the strategy is here for Red Bull, considering that's an interesting call. But it also does put the doubt in the head of that leading group that they will have to pit again, likely at some point pretty soon, if they don't want to be losing out on tyre grip later on. Another set of mediums for Houseman is the tyre choice he's went with.
I think that for now, I think if everybody's most likely going to pit for another set of mediums, because that's going to most likely just tie them over to the end of the race now. I don't see anyone else probably. Maybe you could possibly hold on a little bit longer and sacrifice that time lost for putting on softs and the time obviously gained from it. But obviously you've got the drop off of the soft tires and how quickly they start degrading after a couple laps. I think most people will probably just play it safe and either go with a new set of mediums. And I think we're about to see maybe one of the lead cars. No, both of them are still staying out.
Both the leaders stay out. Also, 3rd and 4th of D7 and Apex staying out as well. As is 5th and 6th and 7th. It's a very early call to head into pit lane there for Houseman, but he is undoubtedly gaining up to the back of this group already. So they will have to think about pitting soon before it gets far too late for them.
I think it's almost already too late for them because as Blas already gone into the pits themselves. I honestly think if they don't pit this lap, I think Houseman's pulled a blinder on everyone here, and it will probably be maybe I'd say at least a second or so ahead by the time we get once they've done all their pit stops with how he's already catching up to this group.
Just have to wait and see. Anything could still happen though, because there's still a number of battles throughout the entirety of the grid. 3rd and 4th between Apex and D7 are still going at it. Apex having looked around the long way through turn 9, not able to get enough grip for that line to work. It's a very long corner. It may be on camber, you still have a long way around the outside to go to be able to get any overtake done that way. Jumping up to the front of the grid, seeing if any other drivers go in. 1st and 2nd still staying out. The group's behind as well. Very awkward line there from Apex through the final corners. I'd say that's another warning for him over the white lines through the final few corners.
I think still staying out.
Indeed they are. It's now, I would say, far too late for them as Houseman at 124.6. That's what you need to know.
Houseman's flying. As I said, I think they're most likely all going to pit now, and Houseman has probably pulled a blinder on all of them. Probably you might want to maybe start looking at maybe preserving those tires just maybe 1 or 2 laps. But I think he just lost it slightly going into the hairpin of I think just ever so slightly lost it going into the hairpin of turn 5. I don't know, but I think at least on my screen I saw him nearly lose the back end, but that just might just be the spectator camera. But how it is going right now, I honestly think Houseman already being 4 seconds just shy of Broughton. I think it is right now. Yeah.
Houseman's only 1.7 seconds behind Broughton as it stands currently. There is 3 seconds of a gap between Broughton and Curley.
I think it's not updated then.
That gap will be coming down as Houseman now down to 1.2. As Mulder heading into pit lane now, he only has to make the softs, if he goes onto the soft side, he only has to make them last for 10 more laps at this stage. Neither Apex or D7 Rain or Curley head into pit lane. Jumping over, taking a quick look at what tires. It's going to be the soft compound tires for Mulder. 10 lap sprint on the softs versus a couple laps already on those mediums. There will be a large gap, though, between those two cars whenever he comes out of pit lane. And the gap updates. Houseman also needs to get past Broughton as quickly as he can, which he'll have a look at doing. Indeed, he goes for it at the hairpin at turn 5. Very
also
late.
will have the DRS going down the back straight as well, because he just... Yes, he will, because he was still behind Broughton as he was going into turn 5.
That Williams, though, is very quick in a straight line on the overtake. Even without the DRS, it is matching that Red Bull for pace.
Oh...
Of course, that used a lot of battery, Broughton very low, about half charge remaining for Houseman. So not going to be causing any concern there, but it will be a DRS swap. This time Broughton will be able to get it. There's only around 7-ish seconds, though, between Mulder and Houseman.
I think Mulder will probably get that gap down very, very quickly, but I think as Apex gets in another 3-second time penalty, so everybody basically except for Mulder and Houseman are the only people within that top group, and Broughton as well, who have not gotten a penalty yet.
That top group still choosing to stay out of the pits for now. Houseman needs to be able to catch up and pass Curly and not get passed again by Mulder to be certain of winning it. He needs to get past Rayan in 4th place and have Mulder past him if he wants to have that confirmed chance. I'm not sure the other positions and how it stands if he doesn't finish inside that top 5. But his main championship rival is Mulder, who he will outscore, and I'm pretty sure still make it impossible to win otherwise.
As I think that's him about to overtake. Yeah, that's Curly. And now he's into the top 5. So now all we need to do is just stay within that top 5. And he is FVC Season 6 champion.
Of course, there's still another 8.5 roughly laps to go before the end of this race, and we still could have another safety car in that period. We could even potentially have a red flag in that period if the circumstances persist. And with the way some of these drivers are racing each other, it is not out of the question that contact could still occur in the end of this race.
I have my bets on Broughton doing his best Latifi impression, and we get a roleplay version of Abu Dhabi 2021 on our hands on the last lap.
Well, just need to wait and see. Houseman now putting on the pressure against the Williams of Rayan. Only just under 0.2 of a second between these two. Rayan has been a bit of a controversial driver in some of the previous races this season and caused a couple of incidents with a number of others even in this race. Houseman will have to be careful to get past him. The Williams putting on a very good defense so far, though. Heading up towards turn 5, just pushing
on wide.
The door just closed enough, not causing any contact between the two. Just enough respect between the two drivers. Sass receiving penalty for multiple warnings. The Red Bull will have the DRS. The Williams of Rayan not able to keep up. Even with the overtake, the two setups from two Williams very different, but it will be roles reversed and DRS swaps this time around on the next straight. Houseman now still has those 2-place offer to his main rival Mulder, as well as a decent gap of time. The battle for second place is still raging on between the Mercedes and the Red Bull of D7 and Apex. I'd say once Houseman gets up to here, though, that Apex will very quickly let Houseman get on by without causing too much of a problem. Houseman may even back the Mercedes up a little bit to try and help his teammate, but of course he still has to be careful behind if he wants to make that work.
Quite possibly, though. I think from how I'm seeing this, I think Scarlett at the current moment is going to try and maybe go to the end
into
of these
pit
tires.
lane. I think a fake out even to let Houseman go by. I think Red Bull plan is definitely going to be coming to fruition. Mulder a 1:24.5. That's not fast enough, I don't think, with the time remaining in this race to be able to catch up to Houseman. But of course, it depends how quickly those mediums drop off.
I don't think they will drop off as much, because look at Scarlett, still 5 seconds clear of D7. Although, in fairness, D7 and Apex have been brawling it out for the last several laps.
Houseman making a move around the outside. of D7. The Mercedes falling into line will not be able to challenge into the chicane, but Houseman will not have any DRS this time by, and their battery charge isn't looking the greatest. But it's a big gap already. 0.7 of a second is. There's an end plate there flying about on my screen.
End plate from I think it was the. I saw an end plate as well. I think it might be Pixels or wherever the Aston Martin is. It's coming up to be lapped here. I think it might be SAS.
Not entirely certain.
It is SAS. It is the end plate of SAS.
Well, that's that mystery solved then. No damage for the leading group. Noticing though, the Williams of Rain is caught to the back of this pack from the slowdown that the battling has caused. Houseman already pulling away in second, over a second ahead of the Mercedes of D7. 4.3 seconds remaining between himself and the lead of this race. It would be a very symbolic way to win the championship by winning. However, that is a long way to go for that still to happen. Aston Martin getting lapped. Mulder is still 2 seconds off the back of 5th place. Race once again getting just close enough and past, but going deep possibly into the chicane against the Mercedes, who runs to the back of the Red Bull, and then Williams runs to the back of the Mercedes. SAS, 3-10 play for multiple warnings. A accordion effect of contact there is Rayan having a look to move up to 4th place and also get in on this battle. Might be having a look against a dive against Apex. Not going to be close enough for the turn 9 hairpin. Forcing Mercedes to go the long way around. Hard compounds there for Rayan. Sorry, Senna.
Sorry, I genuinely think Mulder has overcooked the strategy. I genuinely think that just pitting that a little bit longer has completely compromised it, and he's not going to catch up to even Houseman, I don't think at all, who's now rocketing towards Scarlet. In fact, now Mulder's just caught up with the pack of Apex, Rain, and D7, and now just dispatches immediately of D7 going into turn 1.
He still has to navigate his way through this battle, and that could slow him down. And then it's still numerous seconds to be able to even get within Houseman.
Yes, Houseman's now just within that 2.5 second range of Scarlet, but Mulder will have DRS going down the back straight and up the slipstream as well from Apex, and he might get a double overtake done here as well. As he does.
Easily able to get the double overtake. Rain running to the back of that Haas. He still has, though, 2 seconds to get to Houseman, who in turn has another 2.3 to get up to the back of Scarlet. Even if he drives a second per lap faster on the cars in front of him, time is running out. And either way, it wouldn't really matter for him, because he needs Houseman to fall outside of that top 5 to be able to have any hope of keeping it alive. As it stands, Houseman will be able to comfortably take the championship.
Oh, just in the space of 1 lap, Mulder's gone from being almost 4 or 5 seconds out already to nearly being within 2 seconds of that Red Bull, and less than 4 seconds of that Ferrari.
Lap 26 of 29, you can see the cars he needs to beat ahead of him, but it's not going to be close enough. He needs a miracle at this stage for anything to happen. A late race safety car could change anything, but of course time is running out for that. I think it's already too late for any red flags to be called by the game at this stage. It
is too late now. There's a caution in Sector 3. I don't know what's going on down there. It's gone now.
Just a couple of slow moving cars from the looks of it.
As I think that's as Houseman just slightly there, very quickly, just for like 2 seconds there, just dropped into the less than a second now, and that under a second there between him and Scarlet. As Scarlet really must be nursing those tyres now. They're 20 laps old, and the performance of them must just be dropping with every single lap, hemorrhaging seconds a lap, most likely.
There's a Red Bull round at turn 9. That's going to be Apex falling out of the fight between himself and D7.
Unlucky from Apex there. Don't know what happened to him, but he's putting up a really good fight with Rain and D7.
Likely see, if there was contact, a stewards inquiry of some form. 3 laps remaining, 27, 28, and 29, and there is 0.2 of a second between Scarlett and Houseman. A lot better tyres on that Red Bull. Should be a very easy overtake for the lead of the race. However, it depends how well Scarlett can defend, although I doubt she'll be able to nurse that car for another 3 laps against a charging Red Bull. Here comes Houseman blocking up the race, nearly running to the back of the Ferrari into turn 5.
As Mulder's now within a second of Houseman as well.
Mulder will
but
have...
obviously
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have DRS.
He doesn't get DRS. So they're going to rocket away right now. Yeah, Mulder's not going to get any DRS even going down the second straight as well.
Or maybe he just might get... I think he was just about within a second gap that time around. The rear wing is open on that Haas. He did get it.
It was.
With the second just by the barest of margins. Scarlett coming back for the lead of the race on the outside, but that's going to be a detrimentally low amount of grip for the Ferrari. Houseman takes the lead on lap 27, very wide there for Mulder.
Still no penalty, so it might just be a warning.
Going to be getting close on warnings though by this stage of the race. It is coming to a close. There's only so many off tracks you get before eventually you start getting the game giving you penalties. What do you see though? 3 drivers remaining, 4 yet to get a penalty. Here comes Mulder getting a much better run out of the final corner against Scarlett. There's already a second between that Ferrari and the Red Bull in the lead of the race. Yellow flag once again coming up at the turn 5 hairpin for a slow moving car. Not sure who that is. Scarlett just keeping the pace for now, but will not be getting any DRS assistance down this stage unless you can pull out something miraculous. But of course that's not going to happen in her favour. It'll be a very easy overtake this time by from Mulder.
Don't think so, yep.
Open on that Haas, easily able to get up into second place.
Ooh, I think we could. I think if Mulder gets in within the second tier, possibly. I don't think. Yeah, I think
he gets it
Mulder
on the braking zone. Depends if he can keep it there though. For the rest of it, the soft comp tires doing better at this stage, but I don't know. He could have fell out. No, he does get it.
No, he
just
gets
barely
it. So
again.
I think we're going to have a one-lap shootout almost between the Red Bull and the Haas. But I think with obviously Houseman having the advantage with track position, but the soft tyres of Mulder, he's continuously keeping up with Houseman and those aging mediums. But the major question is, will those softs finally drop off in performance? But with how it is right now, I don't think they are going to. As we start the last lap of the Grand Prix.
1 lap to go between Mulder and Houseman for the win of the race. It's not going to matter in the grand scheme of the championship, but the respect and the bragging rights all come down to this. Half a second. The advantage is Mulder currently with the tyres, but which way will it go? Harsh braking into turn 5. That Haas is getting closer by the second. It will have an extra helping of DRS this time by. I don't know if it'll be close enough though. It will be dumping the battery this time by. There's no reason to keep it going for the rest of this race.
Houseman only has about 19%, whereas
Here
Mulder
comes
has
Mulder
33.
having a look around the outside into the chicane. Not going to be close enough. He's going to have to do a
it's a bit of contact
undercut.
there.
Haas running into the back of the Red Bull. He will get a second helping of DRS this time by. Will jump on board the pass of Mulder. The Red Bull is charging on the overtake as well as the Haas. Easily able to go to the outside of the circuit, getting up into the lead for the time being. Houseman will hold the inside line, but he's not going to be anywhere near close enough to make it work.
Mulder just takes the lead of the race, and I think Mulder has it because Mulder has much more battery than Houseman. Yeah, Houseman's is dead, whereas Mulder still has about 20% left to just dump with it in the last few corners.
A very valiant effort, and just about it will go the way of the Haas driver. Mulder will come round the final corner to win the race, but all eyes are on Houseman. He is the Season 6 champion of the world. The second crowning of a 2-times champion goes the way of Red Bull and Houseman 212E. Third place heading the way of Scarlett, fourth going to Rain, and fifth is the Mercedes of D765.
Really, really In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Rain actually did a really good drive there, if I'm not mistaken. Like a really good drive from like quite far down the grid. Really impressive.
Moving on further down, fastest lap taken just at the end by Apex at 1:24.355. The extra point going to him. 6th place taken by Broughton. 7th goes the way of Curly. 8th to the Haas of Blah. 9th for Apex plus the fastest lap point. 10th going the way for McLaren, scraping up a single point by Dorado just at the end. Rosenquist taking 11th. 12th and 13th going to the Aston Martin duo of Pixels and Sass, and Monkey Moo on debut taking 14th for Ferrari.
But nothing, obviously, all of that does not matter at all, as Houseman is the season 6 champion. Oh, he only needed to finish above 5th and finish 2nd on the podium from a really good effort. Mulder obviously really pushing him on that final lap. An incredible battle between the two. But all that doesn't matter now is it's all been done for as the two Aston Martins do donuts on the back straight. The final straight.
Didn't get that on the stream until the Red Bull's AI came around another time. Driver of the day given by the game to Mulder, but of course the Formula Companion app available on all the app stores, iOS, Android, or otherwise. The code to join is on screen, where you can view all previous results and vote for who you think is deserving of Driver of the Day. Top of the podium for one, but top of the world for another. Win goes to Mulder for round 17, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But the championship, after the longest season in FVC history, goes the way of Red Bull's Houseman 212E. Scarly42 takes 3rd place to finish off the podium at Abu Dhabi. Well, after 46.5 minutes, only 4/10 is what separates them. 15th to 1st for Mulder. Only 2nd place for the way of Houseman, but he's not going to mind too much, especially after the night he's had. 3rd place going to Scarlet. 4th to the Williams of Rain. 5th place going to D765. 6th to Broughton, and 7th to Curly7. 8th place going to Blah in the Haas. 9th to Apex plus the fastest lap. Means Red Bull take home at least a good haul of points. 10th place, 1 singular point for the McLaren duo. 11th going to Rosenquist. 12th for Pixels. 13th for Sass. 14th for Monkey Moo. 15th a DNF for Gniffy. And 16th only for Joseph Hay.